It's a familiar frustration, isn't it? You're putting in the work, you know it's valuable, but, well, it feels like the impact just isn't registering, you know, with the people making the key decisions. Like what you do is seen as maybe a secondary concern, not something that truly drives the business forward.
Yeah, definitely.
So today we're kind of digging into that feeling, specifically for those of you in content design and strategy who might feel this disconnect.
Absolutely. And we're looking at a core challenge here. It's something that's been highlighted by an AI analysis looking at various business perspectives.
Okay.
And the blunt reality, it seems, is that some stakeholders view content design and strategy as, well, the quote was, just writing with fancy window dressing.
Ouch. Window dressing.
Yeah. The perception is that it's difficult to measure its value, that it slows down processes.
Right.
And there's the sense that, you know, the growth in specialized roles is maybe adding unnecessary layers.
Yeah, that complexity argument.
Yeah.
And this comes with some pretty pointed questions too, doesn't it?
Oh, for sure.
That inevitable, what's the ROI? Or the feeling that, you know, endless discussions about just the right word are holding things up.
Exactly.
And this underlying skepticism about whether all this focus on content is actually contributing to the real goals of the business. So our aim today, really, is to explore how content design and strategy professionals can tackle this head-on. How can they connect with stakeholders in a way that works and, crucially, demonstrate a clear, undeniable link to commercial success?
Yeah, and our source actually calls this a necessary charm offensive.
A charm offensive, I like that.
Yeah, so we're going to unpack this AI-generated view, looking at the frustrations, but also, importantly, a path forward.
Okay, so let's start by trying to, you know, put ourselves in the shoes of those stakeholders for a minute.
Good idea.
What's driving this skepticism?
Well, from their viewpoint, the business really revolves around return on investment, right? And speed to market.
The bottom line.
The bottom line. They often see effective communication as just a basic skill, something anyone should have. The AI even suggested that something anyone can write.
Right. That old chestnut.
So when they see what look like long processes or maybe abstract discussions, especially if there's no obvious connection to revenue or efficiency gains, it's kind of understandable they get frustrated.
Yeah, you can see why. They're focused on tangible outcome.
Exactly. And if those aren't immediately apparent, the perceived value just drops.
It feels like a real clash of priorities sometimes. And our source mentioned something interesting here, too, this idea that, well, new disciplines often face this resistance just because they're new. They represent change.
That makes sense. There's a natural tendency to question something unfamiliar until its benefits are shown really clearly and probably repeatedly.
Yeah, like think about initial reactions to new tech. People need to see it work, see the impact before they really get on board.
And this lack of stakeholder buy-in, it can unfortunately push content teams into a bit of a cycle, right? Focusing on less impactful internally facing work.
How so?
Well, if you feel like your strategic input isn't valued externally, you might start, spending more time refining internal style guides or running these long workshops on abstract principles.
These you can control.
Exactly. Activities that feel productive inside the team but don't necessarily hit those broader business goals. The source even used this funny image of a workshop losing everyone's attention the moment the Pringles run out.
Okay, yeah.
It highlights that difference between work that's maybe lovely internally, like tweaking a guide forever, and work that actually demonstrably drives commercial results.
Got it. It's the difference between feeling like you're contributing and contributing in a way the organization actually sees and rewards.
Precisely.
And this leads us straight to what our source really hammers home as the ROI imperative.
The big one.
Yeah, and it's not presented as just a nice to have. It's framed as a fundamental requirement. The text is super clear. Every single day, at least 1 hour needs to be spent on your role's ROI.
Wow, an hour a day.
An hour a day. Obsessing about conversions, how you're changing those numbers for the better, that's pretty direct.
It is direct. And it immediately brings up a key challenge, doesn't it?
Which is?
Well, for many content folks, diving into business metrics like conversion rates, revenue figures, customer acquisition costs, that might feel outside their normal job, or maybe they don't even have access to that data easily.
Sure, that's a real hurdle.
But the source sort of reframes this. It's not just a barrier, it's the central problem you need to solve.
Okay.
If you can't clearly show how your content efforts directly influence these critical business numbers, it becomes incredibly hard to shift that perception, from being seen as just a cost to being seen as driving real value.
So instead of just saying, we improved the website copy.
Exactly. You need to be able to say something like, okay, we clarified the call to action on the pricing page based on user testing, and we saw a 15% increase in trial signups this quarter.
Okay. That's speaking their language, the ROI language.
That's the language.
Okay, so we get the skepticism, we get the absolute need for our ROI. Now, how do you actually start to, turn things around?
Yeah.
How do you launch this charm offensive?
Right, the practical steps.
Yeah, and build those bridges. Our source gives some concrete ideas. First up, leadership, engaging with the leadership, or as the source puts it, the gaffer.
The gaffer, yeah. The core idea there is you've got to clearly explain at a high level how your content strategy plugs directly into the big organizational goals and successes.
So shifting the conversation's focus.
Precisely. Less about the nitty-gritty of content creation and more about connecting your work directly to the business's strategic objectives. It's about showing genuine curiosity, too. Like, how does the business actually work? What are the key priorities?
And then positioning content as a tool to help achieve those.
Yes. And the source even suggests actively seeking mentorship from people in revenue-focused roles, like sales.
Interesting. Learn from the sales team.
Yeah. Get a firsthand understanding of their targets, their metrics, their language. That gives you invaluable insight into what really moves the needle commercially in your company.
That's actually a really smart suggestion. And it's not just about talking to the top, is it?
No, not at all. The source also really highlights building connections and relationships across different departments.
Like what kind of thing?
Simple stuff sometimes. Yeah. Connecting with colleagues on LinkedIn or whatever platforms you use. And crucially, offering sincere public praise for their achievements.
Recognizing others.
Especially those in areas like, say, performance marketing. Showing you appreciate and understand their contributions helps break down those silos and builds mutual respect. It shows you're not just in your own content bubble.
Right. It demonstrates you see the bigger picture.
Exactly. You understand you're part of a larger ecosystem working towards the same goals. And beyond that, the source suggests proactively creating content about the value of content design.
Like internal marketing for your own team.
Sort of, yeah. Maybe internal blog posts or case studies that clearly link specific content work to measurable improvements.
Okay, so like this UX writing change led to X% fewer support calls.
Perfect example. Or this clear onboarding flow improved customer engagement by Y%. Things that directly show the positive impact on key business metrics.
Makes sense. So ultimately, what the source is really stressing is that changing minds and earning respect, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Totally. It requires consistent effort over time. You can't expect an overnight change in attitude.
Right.
It's about persistently showing the tangible impact of your work on that bottom line. It's like taking those moments of friction or misunderstanding, the source called them overturned apple carts, and showing how your expertise can not only fix them, but actually turn them into something positive, like making that metaphorical cider that proves your team's value, getting everyone drunk on your success, as the source cheekily put it.
Love it. Making cider from overturned apple carts.
So the key takeaway, the central message here is this. If you want to shift how content design and strategy is perceived, moving it from a cost center to a vital driver of success, it takes proactive, ongoing effort.
It's a commitment.
It really is. It means actively understanding your stakeholders' world, relentlessly focusing on demonstrating ROI, and really diligently building strong collaborative relationships across the whole organization.
Okay. So with all that in mind, maybe we leave you, the listener, with something to think about.
Yeah.
Consider this. What is one specific concrete action you can take, maybe even today, to start building one of those crucial bridges, or to more clearly show the commercial value of your content work?
Small step.
Yeah, just one thing. How can you frame your next conversation or maybe your next project update in terms of its potential impact on revenue or efficiency or customer success?
That first deliberate action.
Exactly. That initial concrete step might just be the most important one in launching your own really effective charm offensive.